Creating a tempo map from an audio file inside of Pro Tools. I've got a session set up already with a drum track from a friend of mine, and I'd like to start building my session, but I have no idea what the tempo of this track is. We're going to show you some selection techniques to determine where the bars are, and then create a tempo map for our entire project. Here's what we have to start with. Okay, to establish a tempo map for this track, I'm going to show you some selection techniques to find the first measure so that we have some point of reference. I'm going to do this two different ways. The first way is to use the down and up arrow key on the keyboard so that I can mark what I think is the first measure while I'm listening. I've got a 1-bar selection now. I'm going to go down to the transport, make sure that loop playback is on, and it is. This lets Pro Tools loop around the selection, and I can test to hear if the loop is the entire measure. I came close, but there's a little bit of a glitch there. I'm going to use some techniques now to help me zoom in and make the selection more perfect. I'm going to turn on single touch edit mode. That's up here, the A to Z key. This now enables my Pro Tools color-coded keyboard to do edits with single touches. And the first move I'm going to do is a selection technique to hit the E key, and that will zoom my selection all the way out so that I can see what I'm doing. And you can see here by using the Shift key with the selector, I can make a little better selection at the front. And then again, I can make a little bit better one at the back. Let's listen to that. It's getting a lot closer, but I really want to get precise, so I make sure my tempo map lines up all the way through the song. I'm going to use the zoom chiclets up here in the navigation section of the edit bar to zoom right down to sample accurate level. And you can see here that I can even make my selection more precise. I can use my right arrow on the keyboard to jump to the back part of the selection. Just get that first transient. And then the E key will send me right back to where I started with. Let's listen to that. That sounds really great. So that's one way to do it. The other way I'd like to show you is using a new edit feature in Pro Tools 6.0 and later called Tab to Transient. I can enable that right next to the A through Z key on the edit toolbar. What I'll be doing is using the tab key on the keyboard to tab through the drum track, and it will tab to each transient event. It's great for editing drums. I can find the beginning and then use the Shift key to add to my selection to try to find that measure. Perfect. See how easy that was? Tab to Transient's another way to get it done. Now to create a tempo map for the track, I'm going to go under my Edit menu and choose Identify Beat. Brings up a dialog. It allows me to say that the beginning of this selection is bar 1. I'm in 4/4 time, and at the end of the selection, we'd like to start bar 2. Once that happens, Pro Tools has now gridded out my entire project at that tempo. If I now choose bars and beats from my main counter window, you can see visually that Pro Tools has mapped a tempo grid or measures to our entire audio track so that I can continue to build and even use a metronome to record some other tracks. So that's identifying a beat inside of Pro Tools. Make a selection of a measure, use Identify Beat, and you can grid out your tempo for your song, all based on an audio track.